What the heck? Alright, what's going on here? You know, here I was thinking that the YouTube staging preview thing was such that it wouldn't actually announce anything to the world, and apparently it does. Well, that's news to me. I'll be sure not to leave that hanging too long in the future. Hey, Nihil. Just gotta rip. Da, da, da. Hey, Ashes. Alright, I've just gotta rip this cable out because I've done a boo-boo, and I thought that... Oh, what did I think? I thought I had plenty of spares of these iPhone 5S flexes and things like that, but I think in my recent rage and cleaning up everything, I threw out a container which had several dozen of everything, of which probably 50% were brand new. But I'd have this terrible habit where I would take out one from my stock to test, and then I would forget to put it back into the stock box, and subsequently I would then not know its true status when I found it on the bench again, and I would have to assume that it was faulty, which resulted in the accumulation of quite a lot of flexes that were probably okay, but I couldn't trust them. Stupid things I do. Okay, so anyway, I just need to get this flex out so that I can try and verify at least that it's not the flex on this iPhone 5S that I'm about to try fix. Okay. Ah, great. Damn autofocus. Yeah, I have no idea what camera is which at the moment. Let's see, is this you? Yep, there we go. Hey, Teresa, Jan, Joshua, Eduardo, Big Bad Troll. Hey, Silver Gold. Not everyone's here, but we're getting there, Oops, looks like I ripped that completely out of the iPhone. Oh well, no one cares. This is a beaten up to hell iPhone, so it's just a parts. It's obviously not the phone I'm truly fixing. This is a pretty boring job for most people. It's nothing dramatic. It's just another 5S, which has probably got, well, I don't know. It could be Tristar. It could be the actual flex. That's what I'm about to find out. Amusingly, I've got plenty of 5S flexes, but no... sorry, SE flexes, but no 5S flexes. Because that's just the way the universe rolls with me. Okay, get my Vaseline. Hey, Greg. G'day, JR from Nova Scotia. Actually, I don't know how to properly pronounce that, but you'll just have to bear with my butchering of it. Alright, so we're plugged in, but even though it's upside down, we've got 0 milliamp charge. So it's a pretty good chance that's a Tristar. I just had to eliminate that because it would be really, really dumb of me to do a Tristar replacement and then find out that it was actually the flex. It'd be amusing for all those watching me do it, but I'd be angry at the end. Because other than that, this phone's in very good condition. Was that the right one? Did I have the right battery? I'll just try it with this battery as well, just in case. At least I don't have to put the screen on it. Okay, that. Ugh, plug it in the right one, Paul. Yeah, it's still nothing. Yes, Gustavo, the Vaseline is very important on this job. When things get really difficult to get through, Vaseline is there to save the day. Okay, get that battery out. Let's get this thing disassembled, see if I can even remember how to take a 5S to pieces. I'm fairly sure I'll be okay. Huh. Famous last words, I'm sure. You got an SE with 512 gig? What? I'm taking you, replace the RAM in it. I wasn't aware that they came with up to that level stock. Maybe they do. I don't really know a lot of... I don't follow the iPhone... Well, in fact, I don't follow things much at all. I just tend to get given jobs, do the job, and then I go off and do other things in life. Important things like programming shoddy software that makes Lewis Rossman lose even more hair than he already has lost now. Gives him more grey hair. Hopefully I'll be able to refrain from having a coughing fit in the middle of this, but if I do, I apologize in advance. What else do I need to remove off here? There's always the weird and quirky antenna connector under there, but so, yeah, good. The automated camera is working. Okay, just need to get rid of that big screw. Oh, finally, an opportunity to see where that's always meant to be. Yeah, the number of times that this little piece, this metal washer pops out, and then you always go, where the heck did that come from? Well, now I know. And right, need to get that out too, I think. Right, up to 128. I'm actually kind of curious how you managed to get it to go to 512. I would have thought that the phone itself would have had complications in attempting to recognize that. But clearly, there was a way around it. So someone custom programmed it. One of those damn geniuses from overseas. Seriously? I don't remember having to take these out. I say, it's been a long time since I've done a 5S. I really do not recall taking that out. Yeah. Oh wow, that's nice. Factory installed piece of blue material. Hey Rob Brown. Hey Defcom. How are you feeling today? I'm assuming you're also a little under the weather based on your comment the other day. I know it doesn't really matter with this particular cable, the orientation. I just do like to keep things consistent if I can. Okay, he's going to put a bet on whether I remember to put that back on before I put the whole thing into the case again. I'd say it's probably a 50-50 chance at this point. Because goodness knows I've done it plenty of times. Okay, where's the rest of our... Yeah, there they are. There's more time spent just prepping these boards for the job than doing the job, at least normally. There's always that one there. I think I left the adhesive on that one. Yep, the adhesive is stuck on that. Oh well. Alright, it's time to get the shield off now. Lewis is streaming now too? Really? What an inconsiderate git. Oh well. I've still got to get this job done, so it's irrelevant. I guess you can all dual stream. So we're going to do the patented Chris Long gravity drop method here. Now, before I saw Chris Long do this, I always thought getting shields off these phones was a terrifying process. But it helps a lot that the solder on these is, holding down the shield is quite low melt. It probably has a fairly high bismuth content or something. Don't drop uneven like that. Alright. Gotta hold your cool and not panic when it starts doing odd things. Yeah, it did kind of look like water damage, I do agree with you, but I can't see anything in the shield. But I do agree, that's what I was thinking when I was looking at that. It could be just smudged fingerprints. That's down here in the RF section, so we'll have a look. So this is the area where the apparent look of water damage was. You can't see anything. So I'm sort of going by the assumption it probably was a smudged fingerprint. You can... that's the adhesive, that is. I forgot to take that off, but at least we didn't melt it anyway. Everything looks in pretty good condition here. But yeah, certainly I agree. On first glance of that shield, it did have a little bit of a I've had water damage look. Rob, maybe they realised I was streaming and decided to honour and respect my superiority in terms of years. Just cleaning up my tweezers are a little bit yucky. They could really do well to be filed down again. I think I might need to do that. I'm just going to get my stone and file them down. Alright, looks like we're going to go for fine level stone. Ah, great. Seems the microscope can't rise up enough. Let's see if we can take the stone out of the container. There we go. And yes, those professional people with sharpening skills will notice that the stone is clogged. What can I say? I'm a terrible person. There's one skill I've never been able to successfully even gain a minimal level of competence in, and that is knife sharpening. I just do not seem to be able to do it. And I have tried many times. It's just something that eludes me. I've watched plenty of videos, I've read plenty of tutorials, I've tried many different stones and equipment and all that, and it just seems to be one of those knack things or a feel things that people have, and not me. Sold an iPhone 4 battery. What next? 3GS? Okay. They feel a little better now, these tweezers. Unfortunately the tips don't match up perfectly. That's a bit of a nuisance. And I've undercut the inside a little bit, so that's also a nuisance. I'd say it's this side here that needs to actually be pushed in a little more. I'm not going to bother with that right now. I say that, and then when I can't hold the chip properly, I'll blame my tools. Right, that'll work. Let's see, spot of flux. Hey Bailey, is me. How's things going down south? You guys frozen to death yet? How long have I been doing electronics? Gee, put it this way, I'm actually having to think hard about that. I guess it depends whether you mean professionally or just as a general interest. I mean, I probably started when I was about 9 years old, so crikey, I can't even think. How old am I now? I think it puts me at about 36 years of electronics. But realistically, I'd say probably, let's call it 15 realistically. I did electronics at university in my 20s, but I don't even count that. I was more interested in the finer gender at university. Supposedly I was meant to go to university to learn a career and things like that, but no, for me it was all about breaking out and experimenting with new and exciting things. Relationships. Something I had not done at high school, because at high school I was a little loner nerd that, well, I wasn't really a nerd, I was just a geek. Not that we had that term back then. I was just a little loner that sat in his class, behaved, all that sort of stuff. Did everything that he was meant to, and then realised it was all a big fat farce. I learnt a lot at school, don't worry about that. I don't disparage the concept of school. The way it's done is a bit problematic these days, but I still believe in it. Alright, we need a Tristar, and I just realised I have no idea if I have any Tristars. Let's see, phone parts. Oh, you have to log in now with ZXW. Okay. Yeah, well, the big problem we've still got, of course, is that we don't really have any good board views for the iPhones. So maybe I'm just going to have to start flashing my cash around and getting people to make them for me. Well, it looks like a nice set of pads there, except for that one in the top row, third column. But it's not that bad that I can't rely on it. But yeah, I think ZXW might be doing that. I'm not sure, maybe it's in response to PhoneBoard. Maybe PhoneBoard did something that they're not happy with. Maybe PhoneBoard found out how to... Maybe the reason why PhoneBoard has all those files is they found a way to crack ZXW's system. Which would have been real nice for me to know. I'm not that smart. Okay, I've got to remember where this chip goes. Well, I'll definitely say school is a bit of a prison. I mean, I went to a good school. I certainly cannot deny that. But it was still a bit much for me. I found it a bit frustrating.
There were no...
It's okay. No, it's okay. It's alright.
There were no Woolworths ones. So
Yeah.
I went to Perry's, but we know you don't like Perry's, so I just got one if you wanted a bite of mine.
Ah, no, I'll pass. Yeah.
One any.
I don't think so. What's it taste like?
I haven't tasted it.
Oh, okay.
So you want to just like have a...
Well, see, I don't. I'm not going to be able to touch it.
I mean, if you do, or
That'd be amusing.
or you want me to save it for you?
No. Does it taste any good?
It smells good.
Well, that's always a start.
Well, might because I'm sick, but it tastes better than last time.
Okay. Well, give me half a bite of that piece.
Not the-
No, the other piece that you broke off for me. So. Door.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I'll pass.
Pass?
Yeah, it's all yours. It's just got... It's just all like glue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They're hopeless.
You never know what you're going to get.
I know.
It's not consistent.
I know, they're dreadful at it. They're useless people. It's a shame that Woolworths makes
Woolworths
better
way
ones.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright. That was me tasting food. Yep. Yes, relationship experimentals. That was always fun. I got into a pretty serious relationship at university, and then I was out of it. And that was all my own fault too. Alright, so we got the iPhone 5S here, and we can see that. There we go, that's what we were after. Pin run up to the top right, and yep, looks like I already had it there. So that was my suspicion, and I was right. Okay. That's enough of that. We'll go back to that. Throughout school, I basically did not have a girlfriend of any sort. I was not a popular person in that respect. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I spent more time in the library and the limited computer rooms they had back then, which were generally populated by either Apple II or Commodore 64s. When I was there, they finally upgraded to PCXTs, and one of them two of them had the NEC V20 and V30 chips, and that was quite something. Why did I hit that? I didn't need to hit that. That was dumb. That was perfectly aligned, and I decided, no. Probably because half my brain thinks that's just way too much flux. That's like swimming in a sea of flux. Yeah, let's try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? It feels very strange to be working on an iPhone with the significantly reduced temperature and air. Right, did you just slide on okay there, buddy? Yeah, you're okay? Right. So, yeah, I didn't do anything. I mean, it's not to say I didn't have an interest in girls, believe me, I really did. But the attainability aspect was just simply, it just was not compatible with the type of personality I had. And then when I got to university, things sort of changed, and things got pretty serious. And then I was about 6 weeks away from getting married, and I pulled the plug on it. And that was quite a dramatic event, because I sort of snapped out of my good boy next door, perfect sort of person mindset, and realised that there was a lot more to life than just being nice to everyone else and trying to be the nice person. Anyway, it was for the best in the end, but by God, that was difficult, and that's something that actually burdened me for probably 20 years on. Yeah, carried a lot of guilt for that. But there was also a great deal of good that came out of it. I mean, I went off to Africa, so that was pretty damn good. Alright, so, wow, yep, this is boring. Let's wash this down, see if our balls are okay. I'm not a big flux abuser like Mr. Rossman. I mean, it's okay for him to abuse flux. He's got heaps of it. Yeah, the balls look okay. Can't see any real complaints to that. Guess the true test will be when I plug it in. Ah, damn. I did mess that one up. Oh well. So sad. Let's plug it back in and see if we got a win. What's going on here? Hey, Adrian M. in Mexico, eh? Now there's a place with a whole lot of fun and games. Not overly dissimilar to South Africa in different kinds of ways. Alright, and immediately we're now getting a proper charge rate, 788. So it was our Tristar. That's good. Nice when it's a rare, successful event like that. Hey, High on Tech. Let's see, Nick Heinlein doing a blue screen 5S. What's the fault for the blue screen 5S? What causes that? Because I swear I've dealt with that before and I can't remember how. Or was it the red one? Was that long screw damage? I don't know. Well, I'm going to have to wash this down a bit more. This is the only trouble with iPhone repairs. If I hadn't have been so judicious with my flux application, then I could probably got away without doing this. Tech damage usually, So long screw or just knocking things off the board when they try to remove the connectors. Long screw damage? Right, okay. Well, glad I wasn't too far off the boat there. Yeah, this is the fun part. Actually, I might put this into a holder while I do this. Just to give me that little bit of extra stability. Make sure I don't botch up things. Hey, Teresa. Oh, Teresa, you shouldn't be giving me contributions like that. But thank you very much. How is that... How's that equipment that got sent down to... Had any luck with it? Damn it. Cat hair building up on this already. Where's the cat hair even come from? Ripped a choke off the board. As in he's like pulled the pads up too and the traces. That's no fun. Okay, this is one of the few times that I would like to have a 0.5 Barlow. Yeah, 420 and 60. Just sounds louder than I'm used to. There's no guarantee that yeah, it's not entirely down. It's just tacked. Swing it out. Oh, I'm glad that you've managed to fix a few things. That's good. I mean, I know it's not the greatest, newest equipment, but it certainly worked very well for what I was using it for originally, back when I was doing the manufacturing. Okay, this section here... See, I pushed this too far. Damn it. So how do I go about sending a broken Mac for fixing? Big Bad Troll, if you... Well, you can either email me about what your situation is. Oh, wow, that's a really dodgy job, Paul. You sure you want to do that? Look at the dodgy job I just did. That's going to come down quite a bit more. You can either email me with details about what's going on with it, or you can... but if you're not in Australia, then it's probably not worth it. Better to find someone who's more in your region. Because shipping in and out, or shipping out of Australia is ludicrously expensive. That's better. Ah, man, you're right. I think I have to redo the connectors up here. Hey, Lee Coleman. Come on. Should have come to life already. Yeah. Let's see. Microscope. There we go. Yeah, don't know what happened there. Yep, looks like I've still got a... Hey, Jalelsi. I'm sort of a little bit backlogged at the moment, but any new things being sent in, given it be 3 or 4 days, maybe a week away, that should be fine by then. Okay. I don't really do iPhone repairs that much at all, unless it is something like a Tristar or a Touch or whatever. Generally, I ship that sort of stuff off to other people who do it on a daily basis and have a greater degree of competence than I do. People like Bill Yalmez of A1 Mobiles down in Geelong. I send a number of jobs down to him because I know I can always send him off. I can trust that he's going to do the very best he can. And if he can't do it, then there's probably a good chance that it wasn't able to be done anyway. Looks like I won the bet. I remembered it. Yeah, Rodrigo, that's what I was trying to do. It's just the trouble is I was trying to do it under the microscope, and the microscope was getting in the way of me doing it properly. Because that is normally how I do it. I just run around, give it a little push down, a tap, and it did do the drop down initially, but because I was under the microscope, it only actually got to about a half of the board rather than the full shield. This is what happens when you try to show people things, is that it throws you off your normal game a little bit, and then you look like a complete idiot who can't do anything. And people go, I can do that better. It's like, yeah, I don't doubt that. The trouble is you throw in a bit of YouTube stuff and distractions, and it does become quite a bit more difficult. I mean, I know when I used to watch Lewis, I'd be mocking him at the best of times. I mean, I still mock him, don't you get me wrong. I mock him as much as I can. But eventually you realise that it is certainly quite a bit trickier when you're doing YouTube videos. Hey, the Aussie Geek in Greater Sydney. Let's see. Now comes the boring part, putting it all together. This is definitely where having staff to do this sort of work is substantially nicer. And no, I will not be taking on... see, another mistake already. I'm supposed to put the Wi-Fi flex on first. And now you become snared? Seriously? Thank you. If you don't do this thing every day, it certainly is a drama. That's it, my old man eyes cannot see that properly. Well, I think when he was saying Greater Sydney, I thought he was referring to the outer rim of Sydney. Like, let's say, the Blue Mountains and such. Or are the Blue Mountains now considered inner city? Ah, damn it. I wonder if Jessa and Chris ever bother with these, or Jason from SDS. Or whether they just sort of go, meh, it'll live without it. Seriously though, wasn't there one for there? Or does this one belong under here? Doesn't feel like a proper match there. Oh no, I'm in so much trouble here, I've forgotten where this goes. Anyone? Anyone? Damn it. Now I'm gonna have to go to iFixit. I get these popping out quite a lot, and I always forget where they go. And for some reason I was always under the impression it belonged down here, but that doesn't seem to fit very right there. Or maybe it is. Yeah, okay. That makes more sense. Hopefully someone's just confirmed that, or someone's yelling at me now saying, no, you got it wrong. Right. Yeah, I have to. The trouble with replaying, taking it out, is that you rarely have the camera in the right place when those parts come flying out. That's good, that's good. Okay. You were correct first. I think the problem I had that threw me off was that it was upside down, so it didn't line up. Okay, put the SIM tray in. and that lines things up for me. Okay. And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, these standoff drivers refuse to remain magnetized. You can barely get enough for them to stay on. Why did I hear a strange cracking noise then? Now, I'm sure there's probably going to be some people who do this every day of their lives, from countries where, you know, they don't even have the fancy tools that I've got here, and they'll do it in 5 minutes flat. And they're probably going to make comments soon about the fact of, wow, you take too long, why so long, only 5 minute fix, you take 2 hours, you hopeless. I've actually had comments like that in the past. I think I was doing an iPhone screen replacement at one point, and I had someone make generally disparaging comments about the fact that it took me more than 10-15 minutes to do it, and I was like, wow. It's like, yeah, just the fact that I was sitting around talking on YouTube and everything like that, I wasn't trying to do a speed repair on that. But it's interesting the personalities that you get in the comments, the people who feel compelled to have to leave such interesting little remarks. And you wonder what's going on in their heads. You know, are their lives, you know, just, it feels like their lives are just so empty. You kind of want to sit them down and say, you know, do you need a hand, or, you know, do you want a friend, or maybe you're just a jerk. Could be just the latter. I don't believe everybody can be saved. I think a lot of people are just unsavable. This feels like it should be latching. I swear I rarely, if ever, take that off. In fact, that would be correct, because I didn't need to take that off. Damn it. And now... oh wait, no, it did, because I had to go over that. Half the fun of this sort of work is the fact that you're constantly putting together a puzzle, in spite of the fact that you're the one that pulled it apart in the first place and should know better. Do you take any allergy pills? Not normally. Okay, I mean in high summer, when everything is pollinating and, or, you know, flowering and stuff like that, then yeah, okay, I do have to take antihistamines. But on a normal daily situation, no. Rodrigo, you know, I have a few times and it just sort of constantly squeaks. I think I just need to get a different grease. Whatever the grease I'm using just simply doesn't seem to stick around or persist well enough. It seems as soon as I start turning it, it just starts squeaking again. I mean, all my other ones are pretty good, so like this here, so that doesn't give me any grief. But for some reason, this assembly, yeah, it's a squeaker. I've got as much chance of getting it to go quiet if I put flux in it than I am with whatever grease I'm using now. I think I've got lithium grease, but it's probably not enough. You've had sexually explicit comments on needle felting tutorial. Yeah, there's no shortage of scum. Okay, that's a good. It's quite disappointing having all that scum around. Let's see if we can get this to charge and boot now at least. Come on. Do you have battery connectors that make you second guess whether you got the right battery in there? Okay. See how we go. What brand are those noisy drivers? I really don't know. I bought that from this one here. I think I bought from Jason. Oh, the best BEST ones. Yeah, I don't have what do you call it? What I focus on. Yeah, but I bought this from Jason, as in Lewis Rossman Jason. Okay, so we've got charge indicator. We're doing 860 odd milliamp charge rate, so that's good. Alright. Yeah, so I think WD-40 would definitely be a bit too light. It will just drive off with it. I don't think WD-40 is classified as a lubricant even. I think it's yeah. I know it's used as one. Here we go. You'll love that, I know. Let's see if I can spot any grease. I think it's in the shed at the moment. I'll cram some Vaseline into it. Vaseline's not really a ideal thing either. What doesn't help is it's got a plastic runner on the back there too. Yeah, exactly. WD-40 works. Awesome for 20 minutes, yeah. That is the problem. Now, see, I need something that's fluid enough to get in there, but persistent enough not to just simply wick straight back out. And honestly, I guess I don't really care. Oh, here we go. This will always work. This isn't grease, but this is a little bit more effective than WD-40. There you go. Dead quiet. And then tomorrow they'll start squeaking again. Yeah, see the... Yeah, I don't want to pull the end off. I don't know whether that's a ball cup fit or whether it's a pressed flange fit. And if it's the latter, and I pull that off, then it's not going to go back on. Okay, that's that. Let this charge up and... Well, the customer will be happy. Hey, I'll be happy, I'll get paid. That's nice. Alright. Trying to think what else I've got laying around that you get. Graphite lubricant, that's a smarter option. Yeah, let's see, I've just got some messages to answer. Can I recover files from an SD card? It depends. I can have a look and see if it can be done for you. Now the reason why I say it depends is because it depends on why the SD card lost the files and data in the first place. If they just accidentally formatted it, then there's a pretty good chance of getting it back. If they scrubbed the card, then there's no chance of getting it back, at least not realistically. If it's a controller failure, it might be possible to get it back. Well, with the graphite, what you can do, and I mean, it's only if it really pours out in large quantities. I think if it's just contained within the confines of just that groove there, it's not going to be a real problem at all. Also, graphite does tend to be a little bit stickier, particularly now that, like, if you mix the graphite with the light oil, it really won't be going anywhere. The chances of there being enough graphite to form a short between two contacts on a electronics board are pretty minimal. When you think about it, the number of solder balls you see floating around on a lot of these boards. Oh look, a Tristar, we need to throw that Tristar away, because we don't want to accidentally pick that up and go, hey look, a Tristar. Maybe we can use that. Not that I ever would. Wired up the SQLite files, they hold all the metadata for things like just all the different metadata pieces for the board and the schematic. So you can actually open them up. They're not encrypted or anything like that, but they just contain parameters regarding the files themselves or the board itself. It's booting up. Yeah, looks like we've got a success there. 3%. Let's see how far that will go. Yeah, I've got a 6S Plus, and it's rose gold of all things. Yeah, I got it cheap. I got it for $50, and all it needed was really a new screen and a little bit of corrosion cleanup. It was a good purchase. And I gotta say, you know, it's a better phone than what I had before. I had a Samsung Galaxy Note, and that thing was good at the beginning, but after 2 or 3 updates, it just became such a sloth. It was like, no, I threw that out. Oh, that's right, I did have a Sony Xperia Z, and that was a good phone, but again, it also started to get slow. Trying to run Candy Crush would just be a nightmare, whereas the 6S Plus, no complaints at all. So, what's this doing? It's turning on itself now. No, it's definitely charging. We're up to 4%. So we're good. We've fixed this. Now the only thing is I am waiting on some new stock of batteries, because I went to put a new battery in this yesterday. This is the original ones from 2014, so it's reasonable that that's not really going to hold much power. But then I found out I didn't have any iPhone 5S batteries, and it's a typical situation where you just somehow end up running out of stock of these things, even though you routinely go through your stock lists and sort of make sure that you've got a couple of everything, and somehow you end up still ending up with 0 stock on some magical reason. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, I had to order. Whoops, I had to order more. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely prefer the 6S Plus over the 7. Definitely. So I thought I'd make a purchase. It's a cracking piece of software. Still, my knowledge of circuits based, but hopefully it'll pick up. Been watching you for a couple of days. Oh, thanks, it wired up. You can also just use Open Board View. So the big difference is that Open Board View doesn't have the PDF integration, and there's a few other user interface features that are now different on Flexboard. Like we have theming on Flexboard View. Let's see. Let's jump all in. So there's themes don't seem like a big thing, but for a lot of people, they can make a significant difference in the workflow. So this is Rob Brown's theme, which a lot of people quite like. Let's see. And you can adjust these themes according to whatever you like. And this is more of the traditional Lewis Rossman theme. Let's see. On the default light, that was more my original nice light and easy on the eyes. But some people don't like the hefty light color. But now these days I tend to use the olive theme, which is another one, just to sort of soften it down a bit. There's a lot of other more subtle features that are. Oh, plus there's butterfly mode in Flexboard View too. So if we go View, butterfly mode, so you get both sides simultaneously. This is just a board I'm working on at the moment. Let's see, what are you using to monitor the voltage on your USB cable? I didn't see it looking through your tools list. Right, you're referring to this contraption, I'm presuming. Let's see, we go overhead only. Yeah, if you're referring to this contraption, this is a homemade one. Just something I did a few years ago. I do have the more normal commercial ones like these, but sometimes I prefer the one I've got. What ticket software job? I've written my own invoicing ticket system, but that's been something that's grown from about 2002, and I just keep adding to it as I need to, so it's definitely not something that's turnkey, that's for sure. Let's see, high on tech. Let's see, I had to redo a NAND reball here in a few minutes. So I hate unbundling. Oh, 6S, the 6S, 6S Plus Wi-Fi bundling. Yeah, that sort of stuff I don't do. Again, I'll leave it to the professionals who have invested in that sort of equipment. And it's fine by me. People say, you could make money on those jobs if you did them. And it's true, I could. But it means it's taking time away from me doing other things. That's you dark theme people. See, I'm a light theme person, but each to their own. But at least you have the option. That's the important thing. That's the other thing that Flexboard View has. Let's see. Lane is... We now have keyboard preferences, so you can set what you want the various keys to do, because originally it was hard-coded, and that was fine if you're on an English US keyboard, but if you went beyond that, it was problematic. So that there are all these sort of additions that aren't major additions in their own self, but collectively they do make a fairly big difference. Let's see. Yeah, Brandon, I'm sort of coming back to life. Certainly today is the first day I feel more normal. I'm just a bit congested, but pardon me, that's a trivial thing. Definitely trivial. Accuse says, I use your dark theme. Let's see, it looks like a new prototype on iPhone. This thing here, that's actually the dreaded MacBook 12-inch Retina board. This is the 00244 one. They're really nasty things. When you plan to update the macOS version, Jeffrey, what are you referring to? Because currently this is where this is 1060, the macOS is 1059. There isn't actually any difference between those two variants. It's just that I happen to build the macOS one just before I built the other two, so they are the same at this point. Super Chat does take a big cut. Super Chat takes about, I think it's about a 30% cut. If you do want to make contributions and you want them to be instant and such, you just go to my website on the let's see, and you will see the PayPal contribution option there. So if you feel like, otherwise, I mean, if you're in the tech business or something like that, then buying a copy of FlexPay View is one option as well, and at least you're actually getting something more with your contribution. Let's see, Rob Brown. I have no issues with light themes other than it just hurts my eyes. Oh, whinge. Yeah, unbelievable. It's surprising how many people, well, I shouldn't say surprising, but yeah, a number of people quite like your theme, Rob. So I'm glad that we put it in there and gave you your name. Do you have software for the inventory that you created in GitHub? That you created on GitHub? I'm not sure what you mean by the inventory software. Not a bit confused. What happened to iPhone flexible view? I haven't really followed it. The problem is that the iPhone board view files just are not any good. Let's see if I can go all in again. So like the iPhone, to turn off butterfly for that. The iPhone 5S is probably one of the best iPhone boards that we have access to, but the rest are just simply an outright disaster. I think the iPhone 6 is one of the worst. There's no board outline for a start, and then a substantial majority of the parts are orientated incorrectly. They have the wrong network names on them. It's just not something that I can sort of go to say to people, look, here's some iPhone board files. Go, well, because if you try to use them to do your diagnosis and whatnot, you will end up with mistakes. And there's a lot of stuff that just isn't right. Like, most of these should be, yes, that's all wrong. It's a case of, a couple of $1,000s per board file has to be spent to bring them back to being usable. Otherwise, they're just junk as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I should have a Rossman theme. I should also put, what's the frog? Pepe the Frog in the back. Oh, why? But believe me, the PayPal works very well for me. They take their 2.4% or whatever, and it really does not bother me, and that's factored into just normal daily business. It's certainly substantially less than the YouTube 30% or so, whatever it is. Let's see. No, unfortunately, those planes are not the ones I fly. I'm not sure who they are exactly. That is a background that I picked up many years ago, and I simply just haven't changed it. I just happen to like them. I like the green, blue, red sort of contrast. Let's see. From the ashes, watch out in phone board. The SE board has errors. Yeah, so that's the problem. It's just so... There's so many errors, and the thing is, you don't know until you actually have to use it for that particular point where it has an error, and then you're up the creek a bit. Rodrigo, what I need to do is create a piece of software that allows everyone to contribute modify the board view files for the iPhones or create them from scratch. Trouble is, it's another big project. I am working on it, but I just haven't had the chance or the time or the money to create the first full public instance of it. So it is a bit tricky. It's one of those things where sometimes maybe you need a different person to do it. How did you decide on your company name? My real official company name, or according to the tax department, is just my name. I'm a sole trader. I can trade as a couple of other different names. So locally I trade as CTPC, which is Charters Towers Phone and Computer Services. I have a few other business names, NQRC, which is North Queensland Radio Control, but that's closed up nowadays. You said you created inventory software. The inventory software created, is that open source? No, it's a in-house package that is. Yeah, it just sits on my server. It's definitely not an open source one. Oh, good God, no! It's a disaster. Let's see, what distribution is that? It's Ubuntu. I think it's 1904. I think, but I use Flux BV. No, I was going to say Flux Board View. What is it? How can I not remember this? Fluxbox, that's it. Yep. Which is just another fork of things like Busy Black Box, or one of the many minimalist window managers. So that's why it doesn't really look like any other existing distribution by default. I mean, I could put a full desktop manager on there, but it just saps away the resources, and I'm more than content to be just running around in a very minimalist window manager. The AimScope microscope, is that trinocular? Yes, it is. It's a trinocular simulfocal. It's pretty much the same one that everyone else uses. This is the TP144. I think it's on my repair items page. Yeah, Fluxbox, yeah. Alright, I gotta fix that. Gotta go and do some other things. I've got a board I've got to put through the ultrasonic in about 2 hours, but I've got other machines I've got to pack up and send off. And but thanks for sticking around and watching me do the also complicated and unheard of Tristar. Obviously I'm being sarcastic. Everybody does Tristars these days, so it's good to have another fix though. And so the customer will be happy and my bank balance will be a little bit happier. You don't get a lot for doing a Tristar anymore these days, but at least it's a pretty, particularly on the 5S and the 5C, it's a very straightforward job. So thank you everyone for sticking around. I'm getting a bit nasally now, so I think I need to go get myself a cup of coffee, relax for a little bit, then get back to work. So you all have a good day, and take care, and try not to get sick. I'll catch you later.